joining us tonight. And for everyone who hasn't had the honor of meeting or connecting with you yet in person, you guys, I hope that at the next event you'll go find her, because what you're going to find is that she's as incredible in real life as she is on social media and on these Zooms, and that you just have a heart to serve. So thank you so much for doing this and taking your time and pouring into all of these people. I know it means the world to them, and we've never had so many questions on a post for a guest. So I was like, holy moly, like we don't have time to address all of these, but we're gonna try tonight. So tell us just a little bit about you, and then we'll dive right into the good stuff.
Oh my goodness, what a complimentary opening. Thank you. So my name is Alyssa, and I got started in this crazy business 5 years ago, scrolling on Facebook. And you know, when I got started, I was living on food stamps and government assistance, and I had $5 in my bank account. I sold a jewelry box actually on a local garage sale site to be able to purchase my kit to launch my business. And I was 22 years old at that time. And you know, when I launched my business, I joined for an extra $500 a month. And I think that that's usually what most people join for. And instantly, you know, I just put my head down and I got to work. And all that I knew was that there was a chart and the steps to success. And that's like, I mean, that's all there was. Like, we didn't have Zoom trainings. We had like actual where we had to like call in trainings. And I just really became committed to learning this industry. And you know what I had my hands on, I had seen my enroller, Tiffany, she earned so many bonuses, and that is what kept intriguing me to get started in the business. And I really just stayed in my lane. I didn't look left or right. And I think that that's something that truly has set me apart from the beginning, is I didn't give a crap what anybody else was doing. And so I just looked at the chart in front of me and walked arms with as many people as I could. And you know, I went Ruby my first month. I went Emerald I went Emerald to double in 6 days after going to an event, you guys. So you've got to get to events. And then from there, I went triple in 7, presidential in a year, ambassador in 2 years. By my 2 years, my 2-year mark, I had earned over $1 million in the company commissions, and I was welcome into the Millionaires Club. I've earned over $550,000 in bonuses. I've paid off all my debt. I travel the world with my daughter, and I give more than I could even it's like crazy, you know? But here's the thing, is that like the only thing that sets us apart from everyone here watching this tonight is that I just have done more of what you're doing. You know, like there's no secret to this, is I've just messaged more people. I've rapped more people. I've gotten uncomfortable more than you. I've stood in rooms of people more than you have. I've just done more. I've done nothing different, just more of it. And that's truly is, you know, that's just my story in a little nutshell, which just seems so crazy to think of how many lives have been impacted. And I think, you know, that's what this is truly about. And a lot of these questions tonight, you guys, are based on social media. And, you know, I found this business on social media, but I actually built to triple diamond. A lot of people don't know this. I built in person to triple diamond. I was in and out of coffee shops every single day. I was rapping people in parking lots. My very first rap party was at a sorority, and it was like right when I got my kit. So it was like 4 days after I had gotten my kit, and I went by myself to my girlfriend's sorority, and they thought I was bringing like food wraps, like turkey and ham wraps. I'll never forget. I like show up with all my skinny wraps, and they're like, wait. And so, which turned out to be an amazing party. But here's the thing, is like, it was just ignorance on fire. Like, I feel like even still there are days I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know I'm supposed to do my chart and my steps to success. 5 years later, I still feel like that sometimes. But I am just so in love with this business, and, you know, this industry and this profession is truly incredible, but there's no time stamp on it. So what has taken me, you know, 2 years to go ambassador, you've got to remember that I was blogging before I joined It Works. I did have a social platform before I joined the company. And I built that for about 2 years. So I always tell people, you know, don't compare yourself to me, because the platform that I have, technically, maybe it would have taken me 4 years with the 2 years that I put in on social to get to ambassador. And so you really can't look left or right. You just can't, because it's going to steal your joy. You're going to start doubting yourself. And like, none of this is complicated. We just make it complicated. It's very, very simple. So we'll get into your guys' questions. I know you have so many, especially tons about the social media, which I would love to teach you. Oh, let me unmute you.
There we go. Wait, did it work? Okay, there we go. Okay, so good. I'm like taking notes from your intro. There are still things that I didn't know about you. That's insane. And I hope that everybody that just blew your mind, because she said $550,000 in bonuses. I don't know if y'all caught that, but my husband was like, what'd she just say? I was like, yeah, that was what she said. $550,000 in bonuses. Oh my gosh, crazy. Okay, so let's dive right in. You said that you built Belly to Belly all the way under Triple, which is crazy. I bet a lot of people didn't know that about you.
Yep.
But one of the questions that we had was, do you work both platforms now? Do you work other platforms? And which one do you see predominantly, you know, the most enrollments from? Do you have a preference?
Okay, so I definitely would say, you know, almost 90% of my business is on Instagram. And there are moments where that's Facebook. It kind of goes back and forth. It's like such a game, you guys. I feel like some of these questions, I'm like, I don't really know the answer. I just kind of do like the best I can. But I really do work both. I would say that I get more, like the blogger influencer type girls from Instagram, whereas Facebook, I get more like moms, and you know what I mean? So it's kind of, I get like two completely different people from those platforms. So I do still work both. And like I message on Facebook and I also message on Instagram, and like none of that has changed. But there are moments where like if my Instagram is crazy and on fire, that's where my energy is going. And if it's vice versa, that's where my energy will go. But getting started, you know, I did build in person those first 7 months. So that was me utilizing my Facebook, because everyone was local to me. Like at that time, you didn't just add random people on Facebook. You added people who like you knew personally around you. And so I would reach out to them, and they would host wrap parties for me. They would buy wraps from me. So yeah, it's kind of been both every step of the way. But the platforms are both changing now. So they're more similar now. And they have been in the past than what they're going to be, which is kind of like, okay, so I have to learn how to do it this way, but it's like it's going to be double the work almost coming with the new changes.
You know, this isn't one of the questions that are on the list, but I want you to talk about this, because you said earlier you were committed to becoming like studying and mastering kind of the profession. And now you've kind of done that with social media. Could you talk a little bit about how you educate yourself on things like algorithm, what's working? Because we should be doing that too.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And you guys, here's the thing is, you know, I've paid for some courses, but honestly, like you can look everything up online. And it's just like, how educated do you want to be? Like, do you want to put your time in to learn it, or do you just want someone else to teach you? So it's kind of, I mean, I love to learn it so that I can teach it. But I do, oh my God, there's so much on Pinterest that I'll search, and you just have to make sure you're looking at the dates. YouTube, I search tons on there as well. And I really just pick and choose a few things. You know, Tony Robbins always talks about like it's 2 millimeter changes that like transform your life. And same thing with your social media. Like I can't go and watch a training on social media and then change everything that I'm doing. I just can't. I do like 2 millimeter changes. And as like, if I'm getting success with something, I'll add like another 2 millimeter change. So don't let it overwhelm you, because when it overwhelms you, you just do nothing. Or you're just like getting ready to get ready, and like you're always just getting ready and you don't do anything with it. So it's seriously like 2 millimeter changes, but everything you want to know is online. Like everything, Google it, Pinterest it, YouTube it. It's all right there at your fingertips. You don't have to pay a penny for any type of course unless it's like extended blogging or branding, or you're working with like collaborations, which I do a lot of that, but I'm also like, I was doing that before I joined the company.
Yeah. So good. So good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people asked about the algorithm, and I know you kind of touched on that, because we're all, kind of like you said, like it's all kind of like trial and error. And
like, what's happening?
yeah. Like, and you just kind of have to embrace that. But can you talk about maybe your own mindset and how you coach and lead your team through sometimes when there's those difficult pivots when we're working, but it's changing, so we may not be seeing that kind of immediate result that we may have seen with behaviors before?
Yeah, and I think that, they've really caught on to kind of how I don't like manipulate is the only word that comes to mind, like the system. Like, how like we teach certain things and do certain things.
Yeah.
They're catching on to it, because think of how many network marketing companies there are, and we're all doing something similar. And the platform wasn't created for that. And so it's like, we always have to kind of find like these roundabout ways. But here's what I can tell you. I have my notes in front of me. The first thing is you want to make sure that you're putting out meaningful content. Like, you can't just post because it says time to post. Like, you can't do that anymore. That's not going to work anymore. Like, if you're truly serious about building a business, like, it's going to take time and effort. But like I said, and please remember, there's no timestamp on this. Like, it's like there's not a clock ticking for you to get to ambassador, for you to get to emerald or diamond or double diamond. There's not a clock ticking. That's all mental. And so you've got to remember is that this, like, building an online business takes time and effort. That's why we still teach doing things in person, because you're going, like, this is 3 times harder than what it would be for me to stand in a room of people and film my steps to success. And so you've got to remember that. Please, please, please remember that. But you've got to be putting out meaningful content, like conversation starters. And you've also really have to understand, are you just adding anybody and everybody, or are you adding people who really fit into the mold of the business that you're trying to grow, the team that you're trying to grow? Do you even know who you're speaking to online when you're posting, or when you're going live? Like, who are you talking to? And that's important to understand. But here's the thing is that you don't have to talk to the same people that I'm talking to, because I connect with different people than you do. You're in complete control of this. So if you want to talk to like the single moms, or if you want to talk to the people who are twin moms, or if you want to talk to people who are into dog groups or hunting, or like whatever it is that you're into, that's what you should be building. That's how you're going to have maximum connection with people, are by adding people who love the same things as you, who are into the same things as you. And that's the most important thing, is people just don't know like what that means for them. So you've really got to, maximize write down all of the things that you're about, and then start adding people who fit those. And that's how you're going to have the conversation starters, because you're putting out content that people are actually interested in. And so that just means like, you can't just focus on like people liking and commenting on your stuff. It truly does matter what you're putting out there, and you've got to focus on your audience. That's who your community is being built around, is your audience. And so that's like your like product pictures. Are you going live? Are you educating people? Are you sharing your lifestyle? Like, how are your pictures? And I think that, really engaging is very, very important. And I know that this was a question, is like, what do you do daily on social media? I spend a lot of time behind the scenes, like in messages. That's where I spend a lot of my time. I'm engaging and liking and commenting, of course, but a lot of my time is spent behind the scenes. It's what you don't see. And when I was building to Ambassador Diamond, I was messaging over probably 100 to 150 people a day. And I was signing a lot of people. And now, you know, video is so huge. And so I'll record, like sometimes I'll do a pre-recorded video. Sometimes I'll just jump on video and start talking, and I'm sending videos and messages, and it's just like a voice message, but it like up a notch to where people really feel connected to me. And that's huge right now, is video messaging, is letting people see your face, being visible. And I talk about this all the time, but I can't tell you enough, because like Instagram, they're getting ready to completely shift to where Instagram TV is going to be the top way that people are going to see your posts. That's just what it's going to, is video, where people can see your real life. They don't want to see a freaking filter over your face. Like, they don't want to see this perfect, all put together life that I have created that online. Like, so many of us are guilty of creating that online. Like, I let you see what I want you to see. And now people are over it. Like, they're just like, show me like the nitty gritty. Like, show me the behind the scenes. Show me like the not all put together photo. And so Instagram TV is freaking huge, you guys. Like, it's getting ready to be the #1 way to build on Instagram. And
So
I'll do a live about that, I think in the next couple of weeks for corporate, just teaching everything on Instagram TV. So that will be really helpful for you guys. But yeah, I feel like, you know, you have to understand the audience that you're speaking to. You truly do. And that takes time. And, you know, it's something that you really should care about, and you really should put your time into. And, you know, when you talk about like, what do I post? Well, we have like the social guide on the document library on eSuite. Like, take the time to read through that. Like, do some of this homework, because I could sit here and teach you all night long, but if you're not going to take action, like, stop wasting your time, you know? Stop like getting ready to get ready, and just add these 2mm changes, you guys. That is all that you have to do. Like, it is very simple, but once you start adding these 2mm changes, that's when you will start to see a shift. It is not going to happen overnight. And that's like such a microwave mentality to think that, because like, I've been doing this 5, 6, 7, so 7 years I've been building on social media. And I'm not even like near what I want to be, but I know that it just takes time. And if you ask any influencer that you see who's making money on social media, what are they going to tell you? It takes time. It takes consistency. You have to know your market. You have to know who's watching. Like, none of this is like secret sauce. This is just how you do build online.
I want you, so there were a couple of questions about messages in general. So I want you to touch on, when you were messaging, like to go ambassador 100, 150 people a day, or when you're messaging now, how are you choosing who you message? And is it more interactive, like just responding, giving compliments, asking questions? Or are you sending a direct message about, hey, have you ever thought about partnering and doing business with me? Or is it a customer message? And then also, because not that I'm overwhelming you enough here, could you give us an example of the video message? Like,
will you start over? I'm kidding. So, you know, with messaging, going ambassador, you guys, I still send the exact same message. Sometimes I'll switch it up, but honestly, I will just send. Now I only send a video message or a voice message. And this is like after I'm engaging with them a little bit. So on Instagram, you can like save like pictures to certain folders, and it's very, very simple to do. But I have like my dream team folder, and so I'm spending a lot of time engaging with all of those girls every single day. And if they don't reach out to me, I usually will always reach out to them. And all that I say is, like, I would just record it on a video or a voice message, and I would just say, hey, Amanda, I don't know if you're familiar with what I do, but I think you would be so amazing at it. I would love to tell you more. That's it. Like, that is it. And I always message for business. I hardly ever have messaged for customers. I'm huge on sharing before and afters and talking about my products. And it's something still, like, if they're not interested in business, I go right into getting them started on products. But I always start with the business. And I truly think that's what made me a millionaire, is signing so many business partners. We make money by signing customers and business partners, and we maximize it by signing business partners. So I really have focused on only messaging for business partners. And there are definitely moments like when I'm pushing for a promotion or like I'm trying to get a fast start, that I'll send messages here and there for products, but that's usually like follow up. So my whole business has been built on following up. I don't want you to think I like voice message someone and they sign up. Like that's not how it works. It's I voice message them and then I get their number after a couple of messages back and forth. And then I follow up with them. Like I have a double diamond on my team and I followed up with her 17 times before she ever even responded back. And now she's a double. So it's like, just don't give up. But a lot, like probably 80 to 85% of my business is built on follow-ups. Did I answer all of those questions? Oh, who am I reaching out to? So I'm reaching out to people that I feel like I just really connect with. Like we have similar like taste and style, and like we talk the same, and we like, I don't know, I just can kind of feel energies on social. Like it's like, okay, are they showing up? Are they present? Like how do their photos look? Do I feel like they could be coachable? And you just never know. Like I sign people up, I think they're going to do freaking amazing. And then I never hear from them again. And then I sign people up, I'm like, oh, we'll see here. And then they go double diamond or triple diamond. And you're like, what the heck? So I never like prejudge people. I really just reach out to people that I feel connected to. It's like an energy source almost, but if I feel connected to them, I will just reach out to them. Like if I enjoy following them on social media, I'll just send them a message. Oh, I'm gonna mute you.
Sorry, my dog started barking. She does it every time I'm on a Zoom.
Oh my gosh, you are fine. I'm surprised my dogs didn't start barking.
She does it every time. Okay, so, and someone asked in the chat, when you are messaging someone for the business and they're like, no, thank you, I'm not interested, and you pivot the conversation to be about a customer, how do you do that? Do you just simply say, no problem, have you tried it?
Yeah, I would say, I was just like, you know what? I feel like, why don't we just get you started on some products? And if you end up liking them, maybe we could chat more about the business. But yeah, I mean, I get no's all the time, every single day. It's not like everyone is saying yes. But I definitely I keep it so simple, you guys. I have a 3-sentence rule, and that's just how I run my business, is I keep it very simple. I voice message when I can, but I would just be like, no problem, girl. That is perfectly fine. I'd love to get you started on some products. I drink my skinny coffee every single day. I'm going to send you my results. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in.
So good.
Yeah,
so simple.
That's it. It's so simple. So simple. We complicate it.
Yes. So someone asked, when you or like your team is pushing for a promotion and you guys need to drive volume, what are some of your kind of favorite volume pushes or promotion pushes?
Okay, so when we're going for a promotion, obviously more volume, the better. So I really love, oops. Hold on, let me make sure that's okay. So I really love to, sorry, I was so distracted by that noise. We love to push like multiple products. So we would message and voice message and video message and post about like the triple threat or like bulk skincare, something along those lines. But we're also going back to all of our customers and we're messaging them. And that's like a huge, huge thing for us, is our customers are ordering more product. And, you know, customer retention's so important, you guys, especially when you are going for promotion. But when you are reaching out for that new volume, again, use like multiple products, send before and afters of someone using multiple products. Like make pairs of products, like the cleanse and the TFX, or maybe it's the greens, the coffee, and the TFX, like the triple threat. Really promote and push products that are at least 2 to 3 of them. And a lot of the time, you know, we have personally, there's a book, it's called Go for No, but that has like just transformed so many people on our team. We did like a whole challenge for it. But in it, it talks about that we all have like a mental spending limit in our own selves. And so like in this book, this guy's working at like a suit store. He's like a tailor, and he's selling a suit to this guy. And this guy checks out, he sells him one suit and he leaves. And the boss was like, wow, I'm just curious, because he's a very wealthy man. I'm curious, what did he say no to? And he was like, well, he didn't say no to anything. And his boss was like, well, then how do you know that he was done? And it was his mental spending limit. He couldn't go past it. And when I read that, I was like my mind was blown. I was like, we put that limit on other people. So don't you dare be afraid to introduce him to 3 or 4 of our products at one time, because like it will blow your mind how many people will be like, yeah, sure, sign me up. And you're like, what? Like, oh my gosh. But I'm telling you, when you guys do that, it just lifts like that pressure, like that unnecessary pressure that we put on ourselves, to where we feel like, maybe I just should do like 1 or 2 products. Like, I offer like 4. And then if you don't want 4, I'll give you 3. And then if you don't want 3, I'll give you 2. And I always like try to stick to 2 either way.
Since you were talking about books, someone else asked, what are some of your, like, you should read this, it will change your life, it'll change your business?
Oh my gosh, where do I even start? So I would say Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. That definitely is how I was able to transform my personal financial blueprint. You know, it was like totally screwed up, my financial blueprint was, and it's something that like I'm changing my family tree, and it's something I take very, very seriously, is my personal financial blueprint from here on out, like what I'm paving for the generations to come after me. And so Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is so huge. Oh my gosh. I would say The Magic of Thinking Big, Thinking for a Change, Anything and Everything, John Maxwell, Anything and Everything, Tony Robbins, The 5-Second Rule. Oh my gosh, it just like changed my whole life, the 5-second rule. When I was going through my divorce, there were so many days I just like didn't want to do life. Like I just wanted to lay in my bed. And even if you're not going through a divorce, like you're still going to have those moments where like, you just don't want to do it. And so the 5-second rule, ever since I read that book, it has like, there's honestly like between reading that and like really diving into my Bible, there's like nothing else that gets me moving more than like really thinking of what that 5-second rule means and how it applies to everything in my life. And then I do a lot of like Bible studies, because I feel like when my heart is right, like everything else seems to go right. And you just look at things with a different perspective when you're aligned with the source, whatever that is for you. I know that's just, it's something that I didn't used to do often, but I do it every single day now, and I just feel very aligned. And yeah, those are a few of my books.
Those are good. Someone asked about balancing your business, onboarding new distributors, making sure you're talking to your team. How do you do it all? And like, how do you divide up the percentage, like the percentage of your time working your business? What does that look like?
All the things. Okay. So I spend, I would say, they say that you should work your business, like your personal business. I think it's 80% should be working your personal business and 20% is working with everyone else. I'm leading by example. If like, I can't be spending 80% of my time with my team and then put 20% into my business. Like I'm not leading by example when I do that. I do have like specific days and times where I'm working with my team, or I'm popping into a chat, or I'm popping onto my team page, or I'm leading a team training, or I'm just connecting with my newbies. But you'll really figure out what works for you. But your newbies my newbies get the most attention from me. I'm really huge on just matching people's energy, and what you put in, I just match you right back. And you've got to think, like, when you're running a race, you can't be carrying people on your back because you never make it to the finish line. Like physically think about like what that looks like. You're never going to make it to the finish line. And so I just really align myself with people who are hungry, but my newbies are getting most of my time because like they need to be walked like hand in hand with for a little while so that they can get their groove of things. And after that, you know, I have like on like my daily checklist, it's like check-in on the group message, check-in on the team page, check-in with my leaders, like who do I need to be like giving love and attention to, those types of things. But I feel like there's no perfect way to do it. Like you just can't do it all, and you've got to be okay with that. But as long as I go to bed every night knowing like I put in an extra 3% in some shape or form in my business, if I know that, then like I'm okay with that. But I don't go to bed until that's done, until I feel like I really put in an extra 3%. And I don't do like the whole like being stretched thin. I used to do that, and like I was sick all the time. I was exhausted, and you know, I just really had to honor myself and my time and just say, okay, like what's the most important thing right now in my business? Like where's my focus in my own business? And that's where most of my time and attention is going to. And then from there, it's okay. What's like, as long as I'm loving and checking in and serving everyone's like love language and their colors, I know that they're good. Like my leaders don't need me every single day, but I'm still like loving on them, and I'll reach out. And then if they need me, like they can call me, I'll show up on their doorstep. Like it's just like, they just know that. But I tried to do it all and to be everything for everyone, and it didn't serve anybody. Everybody got like half of me, and I got nothing of myself.
I love that. And then hold on to make sure that I catch up, make sure that we ask that question as it came. When you're onboarding a new distributor, there were a couple of these that were written into. Are you having them dive right into host a post? We've heard some people say that. Are you having them message right away? Do you give them their first post and their stories to get them started? Or like, how are you getting them started without overwhelming them?
Okay, so I will do the very first thing that I have them do. They'll fill out their tax info and let me know when that's done. And then I tell them to write a list of 50 people that they know. And sometimes I'll do 100, kind of depending on the network they already have on social media. I'll say like 50 or 100, and then they send me an actual picture. I say, send me a picture of this list when it's done. They send me an actual picture. And then I say, okay, perfect. I'm going to send you a message, and we're going to start sending this message out to everyone on that list. But here's what I tell them. I say, listen, if you don't normally text your grandma and your grandpa or your mom or dad, like call them. Like how you normally communicate with these people on this list, that's how we're going to communicate with them. Whether it's a voice message or we're calling them or we're texting them, like we aren't changing anything that you normally would do. And so they do that. And then I say, send me screenshots of everyone who starts messaging you back. So we send like an initial message asking them to like support their business. And then I send like, here are the products you can choose from. So they have like those two messages. And then from there, they'll send me all of their screenshots, and I walk them through probably like 4 or 5 conversations. And then they start to get the hang of it. And they're like, how does this look? And then I'm like, heck yeah, like go for it. And then from there, so once we do that, that's the very first thing that we do. And listen, I used to have like, here's step 1 through 50, let me know when you're done. Like I used to do that, totally guilty. And so now just keeping it simple, I'm telling you, is what is getting everybody the wins. I'm like, God, why do I do this to myself and to other people, poor people? But yeah, so that's what I do. And then we go into like their first post, and I give them 3 options, kind of depending on like their network. And I do give a host to post option, like a more personal option. I give them a couple of stories. And then I have like, on my Instagram, I have like a team training page it's like an actual Instagram page where I put like stories, and I put everything in there so they can just go in there whenever they need to and grab stories. And I teach them to download story reposts, which is, I'm trying to think of what someone said, because I had said this on a training once. and they were like, I can't find it. I forget the name of it, but it's like a story reposter app. So it allows you to type in like someone's Instagram name and you can repost their stories. And it's super simple. So I give them like a list of like 10 people to where they could start doing that once we have like their first initial post up.
So good. What are some of your favorite apps that you're using right now for social media?
Okay, so for my stories, I use Over. And if someone can throw this in the chat, that would be awesome. I use Over, Canva, and Mojo. That's like how I create my stories. Is Over, Canva, and Mojo. And then, oh, it's right here. I wrote it down. It's called Story Ghost, but there are so many options for like the story reposter one. And then I do Focus Keeper is how I run a lot of my day. So Focus Keeper like breaks up your time into 20-minute increments. If you like are totally want to nerd out, you can read like the whole science behind it. But it's just like they talk about how it's really well to like divide your time and your days into 20-minute increments. So I do that most of the days for my business. I do that with messaging. And then like once my timer goes off, I'm like engaging. And then once my timer goes off, I'm like prepping some posts and stories. And then once my timer goes off, it's like going down my checklist. It keeps me laser focused. I have it on. It's so loud, but it's like a clock. It's like ticks. And I love it personally. Do whatever you need to do. You can mute it. And then I have, obviously the Connect app is so stinking incredible. And then Pinterest, of course. Instagram, Facebook, and Instagram TV.
I'm writing. Someone else said Appy. I don't know what that is, but it's another story reposter.
Well,
but that's so good. I think I'm going to download
so
Focus Keeper tonight. It sounds like I need it in my life. All right. So you've talked about messaging, and I think like 20 people seriously asked, do you message? Do you cold message? What do you message? You said you video message. What do you say, and how do you coach people who are reluctant or refuse to message? How do you coach them through that?
I'm like, okay, do you really want to make it income?
like, how are we going to work here?
And listen, like I say that with so much love because like I was the person who like never wanted to be, and like I just didn't want to do it. Like it's so uncomfortable. And there are even like moments like when I go live on my Instagram, or not my Instagram, my Facebook, where I'm like, I have hives, like I get so nervous and anxious. You know what I mean? It's like a rush. And then like when you're done, you're like, why was I so nervous? I feel like we have so many of those moments throughout our lives, but that's one of them for me. That's a big one for me. And so you know what, just like, if you truly want your paycheck to grow and your team to grow and like your customer orders to grow, be visible. Like people have got to see you. They don't give a crap about you posting a product picture. Like they're over it. They see that stuff all day long, like on their drive to work. They hear it on the radio. Like they just want to see you and know that you're a human being. And listen, I do know how uncomfortable it can be. Like I truly get it. But it's so worth it. So when I'm doing video messages, and like I just recorded, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think I did 3 of them. So I just jump on and I just recorded, and one of them was for customers, and it was just like, hey girl, I know that you are interested in getting started on some of my products, and I'm actually doing some enrollments this afternoon. I'd love to answer any questions that you have. And of course, you'll still get my 40% discount. I know that you are really excited to get your hands on some of these products. Whatever it would benefit you, if it's, you know, more energy, or you're wanting to lose weight or grow out your hair, I have you covered. So let me know what I can do to serve you. That's the first one. The second one is something like, I would just say, hey babe, I know that you were interested in making some money with me right here online. I would love to discuss any questions that you have, or maybe some concerns, but I also would love to talk about some dreams that you have, you know, whether it's paying off debt or coming home from your 9 to 5, however I can serve you. I would love to answer any of your questions. I'll be doing enrollments for the rest of the night, so let me know. Like, it's so simple.
I don't know if everyone caught that. So
it's recording. Like, I'll give you the recording.
No, well, what I want people to know,
I can send it to you.
You said, how can I serve you? multiple times tonight. So I hope people can take away from that. So many times in our role, we're all about, why aren't people buying from me? Why aren't people enrolling with me? Why aren't people doing this for me? And I just think like, wow,
we're doing this for others.
That's just like, you know, the strength in your mindset and your integrity as a leader, that you're saying like, how can I serve you? And I think that's something that we can all learn from.
You just have to remember is like, when people like, they're not like, people aren't thinking about you. Like, they're thinking about themselves. Like, they're thinking about like, what products do I really need? Or like what, like they're thinking about their own health. They're thinking about like their own bank account. Like, they're not thinking about you. So you have to serve these people.
Yeah, I love it so much. I know you talked about apps, but okay, so, and you talked about like video, you talked about having good content and like pictures and serving them and giving valuable content. But can you give us some tips on how to take some good pictures?
Oh my God, you guys.
I know people say that our Instagram filter doesn't lead to enrollments, but you guys, it can hurt them. It can hurt your enrollments because people won't talk to you if it's a hot mess. So help us.
We won't. Like, and here's the thing, show up as whoever the heck you are. I'm not someone who shows up all the time like looking like a hot mess, but if that's you, show up like that. But okay, so I take pictures whenever I have an opportunity, and I don't. And people are probably sick of hearing this, but I'm like, I don't get ready every day of the week. I probably have like 3 to 4 days where I actually like put on makeup. I do my hair. Like, my poor hair hasn't been washed in like a week or something, and so I'm just like, okay, like when I get ready, I will just change my outfit a few times, and I'll just do some different photos. I'll record some different videos. Like for my stories, or like different pictures for posts, like whatever it is. But so Harper, usually my daughter, she's 8. She'll take a lot of my pictures, which is, people just like crack up. I'm like, hey, she's a good photographer. My boyfriend will take some. I have like my brother's taken some, but I recently just got, I have it here with me because I was like, I'll show them. So I just got this tripod. And I'll send you the link. It was like $15, you guys. Like, go sell a wrap or some keto coffee. And then this was like $5 or something. It is like an automatic clicker. So it connects to Bluetooth on your phone. And if you hold it down, it will record a video.
That's awesome.
If you just click it, it takes a photo. So like recently, I've been like home by myself during the day because like Harps is at horse camp, and like just summer is crazy, and Jason's working, and he's like, life is just crazy. So I've just been taking my own stuff. And now that Instagram TV, like learning about the algorithm changes, like what really triggered me for this. I was like, okay, the people are not going to want to sit there and hold a freaking video. Like, they're not going to want to do that. And it would be like all shaky and stuff. So I seriously like jumped on Amazon and I got this thing, and this like moves, so you can like move it around. And then I got the clicker so that like when I'm making my video, I can just hold my clicker down and it records. Or like, even if I record on my iPhone, I just click it once, obviously, and the video starts. And then I click it when I'm done. And like, there's my Instagram TV video, you know? And I'll send you the links for those so that you can share them. But yeah, so simple.
That's so awesome. Now, when you're making Instagram TV videos, what percentage of those are about just general content of your life, and what percentage of those are about like the business and products? Or are you like presenting like,
okay, so I only have 3 Instagram TV videos right now. And I think 2 of them lead you to like a link somewhere else. Cause I did like a whole, like, you don't have to have 10,000 followers to have a link, like da-da-da-da.
That's cool.
So like, I'm obviously like prepping for Instagram TV, like content. That's like kind of what I've been like working on a little bit today is, okay, what videos do I want to make and how do I want to do this? I'm personally going to lay it out almost like you would see my feed. Like, you're going to see some of me in Harps. You're going to see some business tips. You're going to see me making my keto coffee. You're going to see me like wrapping girls. You're going to see me, like, I'll put, like, when I do like a Zoom, I would like upload part of that Zoom and put that into an Instagram TV. And then like there would be a link. Does that make sense? So I'm kind of like sharing basically what I would share in my normal feed, but now that like that's starting to shift, I'll like put that content into video form.
I love that. That's so smart. And when you are onboarding a new distributor that's maybe just on one platform or the other, are you coaching them to be on both? Are you encouraging them to do both? Or are you saying stay where you are and then maybe branch over?
Yeah, so I have like if they're just on Instagram, I always have them get a Facebook because that's where like a lot of our groups are, our message thread, that type of thing. And I don't have them like start working it right away because I want to help them maximize the platform that they're comfortable with. And that's why, there are how many social media platforms, you guys, and there's like new ones launching every single day. But like, especially like even at corporate, like we're teaching you Facebook and Instagram because you've not mastered it, because like, you know what I mean? And there are tons of social platforms, but I'm going to help you maximize the one that you're the most comfortable with, period. And then like I'm very well known for like pushing people and getting them to just really get uncomfortable. So there will be a moment where I'm like, okay, like what are you thinking? Like, how are you feeling about Facebook? And a lot of the time they're like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'll kind of coach them through that. But we maximize what they're familiar with.
Good. And then this was asked a couple of times too. I want to make sure that we address it. Okay. So we know that, there should never be a slow season. We don't want to say things like that. Don't even speak that energy into your business. But when your team is going through a season of change, let's say that, or maybe you're coming off of a major momentum ride, how do you shift and lead through that? And I think a couple people specifically said, like, what do you do like when energy or something like that is low? Or better yet, how do you prevent that from ever even happening?
Yeah, so I would say, you really have to ask yourself, like, what do you feel the most confident about when you're building your business? Like, what really lights your fire? And is that getting in front of a room of people? Is that like going live on Facebook? Is that messaging? Is that leadership? Like, what makes you feel the most alive? And when you're having like your energy's low, it's probably because you're not serving in a place where like your like light just shines from you. And most of the time that's like when your energy is gone, that's usually a moment where you're looking left and right, because you start comparing yourself to everyone else. And, when you do that, that's going to steal your joy and your energy, and you're going to think that you're doing something wrong. And that's just like, it's just not the truth. And so you have to serve from a place of what really lights your soul on fire. Like if I personally wrote you a check for $1 million right now and I handed it to you, why would you still wake up and build this business? Like, what about this do you love? And that's where you serve, and that's where you show up. And like, you can't just like want this dream and not want to do the work. Like I meet people all the time who they like, you can't have my lifestyle without putting in, like I was putting in 20 hours a day for a really long time. Like you can't want the dream and not put the work in. And so, a lot of the time when that energy's low, it's because you're not serving from a place that like brings you joy and lights you up. Because like you're still going to have to do like the not so fun work, but you can do that while your joy and you're being fulfilled. Like you want to be fulfilled in this. And that's like, for me, that's pouring into other people. It's sharing this business opportunity that changed my entire life. Like I am nobody special. I mean, I'm sitting here in a small town in Indiana, and I just put the work in. Like that's all that it takes. But I love getting in front of people and sharing why I'm so passionate about this industry. And so really ask yourself, like, if I had $1 million in my bank account, why would I still, like, what about this why would I still show up tomorrow? And like, that's where you have to really come from, is that place. But don't look left or right. Like, what people are doing, like, we're all on such different paths. We truly are. And, when your energy is low, it's probably because like you're not pouring into yourself as well. Self-development has gotten me through everything in my business. I would not be here without reading and listening and pouring into myself every single day. Like, it is a non-negotiable. It's like the number one thing on, like, when I start my day and when I end my day. And go ahead.
Well, I was saying, do you find that comes in seasons? Like, there are some times that like an hour a day, like, you're good and you go on like working your business and everything's great in the world. And then there are other times in your business and you're like, no, I need it like 24/7. I need good stuff being poured into my brain just from like,
oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I need to be around the fire. Like, I need to be around people who are excited about working this business, who are like, they're on the right path. And they're like, listen, there are moments when my energy does get low and I don't feel like putting in the work that it takes that day. You know what I do? I get my booty over by somebody who's on fire right now. And I'm like, let me warm up. I need some of this in my life. And then like, if they need that from me at a certain season or day or moment, they just come to me and they do that. But like, you're not going to be on 100% of the time. Like, we are human beings. That isn't how it works. And so you've got to remember that is like, you are going to have like days where your energy is low and you don't want to be visible and you don't want to show up and you don't want to send the message and you don't want to stand in front of the room. You don't want to go grab somebody. That's going to happen. But like, why, like, who are you showing up for in those moments? Are you serving the uncomfortable place that you're coming from? Or do you want to serve like the who you're going to be in 5 years? Like, which person are you going to serve that day? And so you've got to do like a reality check and snap yourself out of it.
I love that. Which person are you going to serve that day? And that's so good because it can't be both. It can't be both.
No.
It's one or the other. And that, man, that like gives me goosebumps because that'll move you. Okay. So there was one other question that we didn't get to. And this may be the one that you're like, I don't even know about this. But so supposedly Facebook groups are making a big comeback into our timelines and people are seeing a ton of Facebook groups. I know that was a big thing like a few years ago. Everybody was plugging their businesses into groups. Some of us still get shamelessly added into those now. What do you think about Facebook groups? Is this something that we need to educate ourselves on or look to?
I would say there's like 400 million people who are in groups on Facebook, and like groups right now are the biggest change that Facebook's had in, I think, like 5 years, they say. So it's like they want groups to be like the heart of the experience of Facebook. And so I think that having a group, and I mean, we have like a few different ones, but having like a group even together, like as a team or like as your leadership, like there are so many different ideas. And again, this is something that you could look up on Pinterest, like creative group ideas for MLMs is like something that I would search. But yeah, and I mean, here's the thing is like, that's something like, even if it isn't the biggest like algorithm change that's going to be happening this year, that's still one of the biggest. So like, you might as well try it out. I'm all about like trying things out. Like, I'm like, oh, I'll try that. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to be because we can't necessarily lose anything from it. All right. So we covered all the questions in that list. I know that there were still some in the chat that maybe we did not get to, but if you guys have any last call questions for Alyssa, then pop them in here because we got just about 4 minutes left with her, or any like closing notes that you want to share from us. And also I want to say this because, and I didn't say this in the beginning, you probably don't even know this, but it was my probably 6th month in the business. I was in a push group just like this, and you did a Zoom it was people who were pushing for Triple Diamond. And in that moment, or in that Zoom, I gained so much respect for you because I think what so many people think, like we see social media and we think she got there from pretty pictures. She got there from this perfect life, and it was easier for her and everything was there. But in that Zoom, you talked just like you talked tonight about the hard work. Mm-hmm. Specifically, you said something about we joined this business thinking it's for freedom, but sometimes we want to celebrate that too soon. Mm-hmm. We want to just be like, I'm going to revel in the freedom now when we haven't earned it yet. And that was something that you said that just completely changed my life. So if they don't have any other questions, if you could just maybe dabble on your mindset of that for just a minute to maybe encourage them to pay now so they can play later. And we can close with that.
You know, when my friend and my mentor, John Maxwell, he says, you shouldn't be telling a success story if it's more than 6 months old. And it's something that is always in the back of my mind, because I open almost every single Zoom like this, sharing my story. And I'm like, okay, how do I need to show up sharing my last 6 months of my story, you know? And when we start this business, we start for selfish reasons. And very quickly you realize that you stay in for selfless reasons. And this isn't about me and it isn't about you. It's, okay, how many people can we serve and how many people can we impact while we have an opportunity? And, you know, I know, especially when it comes to posting online and sharing your story, is that it's easy to think that nobody's seeing my stuff, or no one responded to my messages today, or nobody cares. But I'm telling you is that I watched my enroller for many months, not saying a word. And because she kept showing up and being visible, that's why I had the courage to say yes. And she shared the hard parts of her story, and sharing the hard parts of my story. I painted the most beautiful picture online. Nobody knew that I was living on food stamps, that I had no money, because I'd let you see what I wanted you to see. And so it took time for me to show up from a place of vulnerability to where I would share my story and really share the ugly parts of it that now I can look at as the most beautiful parts, is because I am where I am is because of the struggle that I've gone through in my life. And, you know, there's someone who is on your timeline that they need you to be vulnerable and raw and real, because maybe their life looks picture perfect like mine did, and they're struggling. They don't know how they're going to pay their next mortgage, or they're months behind, or maybe how are they going to pay their electricity or buy back to school clothes? People are letting you see what they want you to see. And so it's up to every single one of us to step onto the platform that we're given, that we're able to learn on, utilizing social media to share the not so pretty parts of our story. And I can tell you that this isn't about us. We are here for a specific time in this place on this Zoom together, because there are lives that need to be impacted by what we have to say, by the opportunity that we have been given. And if you aren't educated on what this company and this industry can do for you and for your life, you need to get educated. Because I'm telling you, the 20-hour days that I put in to get to ambassador, you guys, there were mornings I couldn't even dress myself because I was so exhausted and sick and delirious. But that's a path that I chose. So I'm not telling you that you have to choose that. But it's a path that I personally chose because I needed the significant change in my life, because I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. So what is that for you? What trade-offs are you going to make? And my entire business, even still today, is built on the trade-offs that I've made. Saying no to things that I really want to say yes to, or missing family functions, or staying up late and waking up early. I'm working most nights while everyone is sleeping. I'm awake working. And I choose that. I'm not telling you this is what you have to do. I choose this. I choose it. I choose to stay up late. I choose to wake up early, because this is bigger than me and I'm serving at such a higher level. And it's a choice that I make. But now, guess what I can do? I could put my phone away for as many days as I wanted to. If I did want to do that, I could put it away because of residual income. And you should be very, very educated on what residual income means, what that means. And our business is willable. And so when you think of like high class businesses, CEOs and presidents of companies, and like the amount of money that they're making, like I've also made money like that. You know, I'm making money like that, but my business is willable. Like they can't will their business to their kid. Their kid can't step in and take over as CEO. They get to start right where they did and work their way up. But our business is willable. So God forbid if anything ever happens, guess who gets everything, every hour that I've stayed awake, every training that I've done when I didn't want to be visible, every message that I sent, guess who gets to reap all of that hard work? My daughter. She gets that. She gets all of it. And that's what keeps me going, is who am I serving? Like, who do I want to be in 5 years? That's who I wake up for every day. Like, that's the level that I try to serve at every single day, is who do I want to be in 5 years? Like, what does that, Alyssa, what does she, like, what does she feel? Like, it's not like, what does she have? Like, I want mini homes and I want a boat and a lake. Like, I want all of those things, but like, how does she feel? Like, how's her inner peace? Like, how does she feel when she wakes up? How does she feel when she's telling a story to maybe a struggling teen mom who is just like her? You know, how does she feel? Like, who does she show up as? Like, what is she putting into her body? What is she putting into her mind? And I show up as that person who I want to be 5 years from now every single day. That's how I'm showing up. And that's what keeps me going on the days that I don't really want to be visible. Like, I don't want to wake up earlier. I don't want to stay up late. But then I think about, okay, does this serve who I want to be in 5 years? And that's like, truly, I have a journal after journal. Like, I have pages, hundreds of pages of the person that I want to be in 5 years. And if there's a moment that I'm not being that person, I step out of it very quickly. And this is like, who am I surrounded by? I've had to end a lot of relationships that I've had with people because they didn't serve me at the level that I wanted to grow into and be at in my life. And that's just another trade-off that I've had to make, is like leaving relationships and friendships that didn't serve me. And I'm like, in your core, you just know when they don't serve you anymore. And I'm giving you permission to walk away from that, to serve your highest self. But it's like the notes that I'm taking are different when I show up as that person. And I also follow like the 10-10-10 rule. Like, does this serve me in 10 weeks, 10 months, or 10 years? Does this choice serve me in 10 weeks, 10 months, or 10 years? And if it doesn't, my answer is no. Like, no is my favorite word. And so you've got to make a choice, you guys, every day. Like, who are you showing up for? And remember that. Like, I have it written down. Like, who do you want to be in 5 years? And also write down, like, today matters. And I'll never forget, I was sitting front row listening to John Maxwell. There was like 50 people in the room. And he just said, like, today matters. Like, every single day matters. And we don't think it does until it does. Like, you know what I mean? We don't think that it matters until it does. And every single day matters. So I also have written down right here on my computer screen is today matters. And this is all the compound effect. Like, every success story that you see, every like top leader that you see, it's a compound effect of the work that we choose to do every single day. Like, you don't just wake up and here's ambassador. It's a compound effect. And so, like, the days that you're not working, that matters just as much as the days that you do. So start showing up and serving at the level that you want to be at. And I'm telling you, when you do that, your world will start to shift. And then in 5 years, you're going to be like, hot dang, like, I really love this woman. Like, I love who I am because of everything that I've been through. And all of the trade-offs. And like, I have made so many mistakes, but I love the person that I am. And that's taken time and energy and self-development and like forgiveness and just like always choosing who I want to be, not how I feel or who I am right now.
Oh my gosh, so good. The chat was like blowing up and so many people said that they needed to hear that. So good. I can't thank you enough for your time.
You are so welcome.
Time is our most precious commodity, and you are so gracious and kind to share that with us tonight. You're incredible. I learn something from you every time you open your mouth. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. We appreciate you. And you guys, the training for this will be up. I know there were still lots of questions here, but you can always go back and rewatch the training to get her scripts and tips and all of this apps and all that jazz.
And I'll send you what I have too.
Perfect. You are the best in the whole wide world. I can't wait to see you at Green Carpet.
I know.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. I'll send you the recording. Bye, guys.